the top 5 guys I think could win 157 pounds this year, well, it's not David Carr or Quincy Monday because they're both bumping up to 165. It's also not last year's national champion Ryan Deacon because, well, he graduated. So that leaves the top spot pretty up for grabs. And after analyzing these wrestlers in rankings, I've come up with my list of top 5 guys. And for every one of those top guys that I mentioned, I'm going to give you a bonus. That is a dark horse pick who beat that top 5 guy, but still hasn't made the podium. So let's stop stalling and look at my first pick, Peyton Robb of Nebraska. And I'll tell you what, dude had a year in 2022. He went from a round of 16 finisher to the next season beating national champion Austin O'Connor in the first few weeks of the season and finishing 4th at nationals. After losing in the second round, Peyton Robb battled back through the consies, winning 5 straight matches and going for 3rd and 4th. He ended up losing to David Carr, but the two of them actually had the exact same paths, yet David Carr ended up getting a little bit more credit. Robb's earlier round loss came to Lehigh's Josh Humphreys, who's my first dark horse. He's a 2-time blood round finisher and is due to make the stand. My second pick is UNC's Austin O'Connor, and by the way, these picks are in no particular order. So if you don't know, O'Connor is a national champion, but at 149 pounds. After bumping up last year, he struggled just a bit, but ended up putting together a pretty solid season. He lost in the first round at nationals, but ended up battling through to the placement rounds where he ended up injury defaulting out. He really was a true warrior. O'Connor's on my list not just because he showed true grit last year, but because he's been at the very top before. He knows what it takes to get there. His loss was to Dejon Casto, who's my next dark horse pick. Having made the blood round in his first year and upsetting quite a few guys along the way, we know the dude is tough. He transferred to Pitt from the Citadel in the offseason, and it could have positive effects. And though I didn't initially have him on this list, I added Michigan's Will Lewan as my number 3 pick. I guess I'm still underestimating him for some reason, even though he made the national semifinals and just really barely lost to Quincy Monday. Yes, I guess he lucked out because David Carr lost and he didn't have to wrestle him later on, but he still beat a tough Caleb Young. I think Lewan really was riding the wave of success in Detroit last year with Michigan's incredible year, but I'm looking forward to what he does next. And if Lewan's on this list, then I have to include Central Michigan's Johnny Lovett, who took Lewan to the tiebreakers in a dual meet, which is why he's the next dark horse pick. He's young and has a lot of potential ahead of him. I also think that this YouTube channel is still young and has a lot of potential ahead of it, so hit that subscribe button to help me pass Flow Wrestling in subscribers. Thanks for helping. Next is a guy you may have forgotten about because of how his season ended, but Minnesota's Brayton Lee is the number 1 ranked wrestler in the preseason by Intermat. And it's for a good reason. He beat Will Lewan and Peyton Robb, as well as quite a few others. Unfortunately, his season did end in injury last year, which is why you didn't see him in the postseason, but he's looking to make the podium yet again. And his lone demerit last season was to Wisconsin's Garrett Model, who handed him a 10-5 pretty convincing loss. Model is a one-time qualifier, and this is his last chance to make the stand, and that's why he's my dark horse pick to make the podium. The 5th guy on this list has had the match of the consolations for 2 national championships in a row. In 2021, he had a banger against Ryan Deacon, and then last year he had an incredible down-to-the-wire match against Peyton Robb. You may know that I'm talking about Arizona State's Ja'Cory Teamer, who is strong, quick, and a brute force. His only losses last year came to Will Lewan, Peyton Robb, and the champ, Ryan Deacon, which is why I don't have a dark horse pick who beat him. But I do have my pick to win 157 pounds, and it's actually somebody who's not even on this list. It's somebody who's bumping up from 149 to 157, and that's Virginia Tech's Bryce Andonian, who is as electric as an eel struck by lightning. And your next question may be whether David Carr can bump up and win 165 pounds. Luckily for you, I answer that in the next video in this series. You can click this full playlist here for all of my weight by weight previews.